As I came to accept the idea of a ruling elite planning for total global domination, I began to hear these same people actually talking more boldly and publicly about it. Only they call it the New World Order.
So this actually exists?
Yes, it does. It's the occult. It's not going to be messing with.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you straight up.
Great architect of the universe and arc of our lives, we thank thee for the abiding unity, peace and concord of our order, founded upon the three pillars of thy wisdom, strength and beauty. In the spirit of the Masonic virtues of fidelity, loyalty and constance, we pray thy blessing upon our dedication of this ark to the service of the craft. We return it to its former place of honor in the Grand Temple, where it will adorn our ceremonies and forever remind us of our incomparable heritage and those duties we owe to thee, Almighty God, to our fellow men and to ourselves. By thy everlasting light, illuminate our hearts and minds with brotherly love, relief and truth, in the practice of every moral and social virtue, for this world's good and thy glory, in thy holy name. So mote it be.
Let that blessing be restored to the candidate.
Who was one of the great Masonic writers of all time, wrote a book called The Secret Destiny of America, and he said it was concealed inside the symbols of the dollar bill. So now we've got to go back to the back of our dollar bill and find out what those symbols mean, and it's very rare that people have done that.
But these people are satanic at the core. They don't believe in God. They hate God because their God is Lucifer.
America's secret destiny is concealed in those symbols. It's a civilization without a belief in God. Understand that the Masons are not working openly for their goals. They keep them secret. They put their symbols inside the seal so that only those who knew the secret could understand them.
It is satanic at the core. This whole country is not based upon Christianity. It's satanic from head to toe. Don't ever think. That all comes together with the Freemasons.
So their ultimate goal is pretty much to have one world order,
one world religion,
and one world
currency. Yeah.
To eventually rule the world.
Rule the world, right.
Which is to usher in also the
Antichrist.
The Antichrist, mark of the beast. And so
mark of the beast, right.
So you've seen all this firsthand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, firsthand. I mean, I've seen the rituals. I see where they imitate them trying to kill you.
Ordo ab chaos. That is their slogan. Order out of chaos. That I above the pyramid is not on the pyramid, which means their work is unfinished, and that the universe will be given order once their God assumes his rightful place in that pyramid.
You know, when you gain your masters, they put you like, they simulate that they're stabbing you, and they killing you like Tubal Cain, you know?
So in other words, like you almost have to, kind of like the way we have to be reborn.
Yes, they're making a mockery out of baptism.
Right, and it's actually reversed. And you know what? The devil works like that because. So if we have to be reborn, they pretty much say you have to
die first.
You have
You
to
die.
give yourself for the devil. Yeah.
America's secret destiny is involved in the Latin phrases Annuit Septis Novus Ordo Seclorum, announcing the birth of the New World Order, and that's what their goal is. The New World Order will be worldwide when it's instituted in the near future. It's going to be a new civilization. We're not going to live the way we're living now.
The Masons are the foot soldiers of the Illuminati. The all-seeing eye is Lucifer. Underneath them is the Rothschilds. Underneath them is the Council of 13. Council of 33. Or 13. No, 13. Underneath them, you got the Council of 33. Underneath them, you got big, different corporations like the CFR. Council of Foreign Relations. And underneath them, you got, like 6 big companies that own all the, they own all the real estate, and they own all, like, media outfits, I said media, they own all different types of...
Yeah, like those people who, like Warren Buffett, who owns...
Well, yeah, he's a 33rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they own, property, they own land, they own everything. So you got 6 corporations in the world that owns 90% of the assets and the money of the world, right? So even the Federal Reserve is not of the United States. It's a separate entity that's ran by the Rothschilds. See, the Rothschilds, they run all that from their house. Wow. And they live out in England. They don't leave that house.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
They don't leave the house.
Why is that? I mean,
because that's where the devil dwells. The devil can only be in one place. God is everywhere. You understand?
And they don't want you to know what those symbols are. They're not going to make it public because it's a conspiracy. The goal of the Masons is to lead the world into the New World Order. The American people, in fact, the people of the world, will never be given a chance to vote on this or to decide. We are going to get the New World Order without vote, without decision by us. And so they've got to keep it secret.
When you're up there and they expose everything to you at the 30th to the 33, you're done. You're selling yourself to the devil at that point.
And then not only that, you're sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, you swore never to divulge any information, but to always protect and help your fellow brother. That's it. You're selling yourself to the devil.
Today, however, is the occasion when the global Masonic family comes together to celebrate our past and renew our own pride and confidence in and enthusiasm for Freemasonry, such that we may inspire future generations. Freemasonry endures, thriving, inspiring, and vibrant, replete with notions as relevant today as they are timeless. From time to time, there are voices calling for change. And we do change, carefully and after due consideration, to meet the challenges of the times. But we adhere to our basic principles, tenets, and essential nature, which the brethren from the Goose and Gridiron would still recognize as their own. Showing how organized Masonry traveled from these islands, bringing light to millions, leading men to improvement, and making the world a better place.
Not every Masonic lodge, they all talk about the same, but everybody's different. Because in order for you to be a Shriner, you got to be a Mason. For you to be a Knights Templar, you got to be a Mason. And the more you go up in that pyramid, and the highest you could go is a Rothschild. They're the highest of the highest. Yeah, they're the satanic children of Satan. They actually sit on a table and they have a special chair for Satan right there. And he comes and talks to these family members.
The Rothschilds bought Reuters in the 1800s. Reuters then bought the Associated Press, which selects and delivers the same news stories to the entire world, day after day. They have controlling interest in 3 major television networks and easily avoid media attention since they own it. Until recently, they owned and operated England's Royal Mint and continue to be the gold agent for the Bank of England, which they also direct. They also fix the world price of gold on a daily basis and profit from its ups and downs. Over the centuries, the Rothschilds have amassed trillions of dollars worth of gold bullion in their subterranean vaults and have cornered the world's gold supply. They own controlling interest in the world's largest oil company, Royal Dutch Shell. They operate phony charities and offshore banking services where the wealth of the black nobility in the Vatican is hidden in secret accounts at Rothschild Swiss banks, trusts, and holding companies. Although Evelyn Rothschild looks like a harmless gray-haired old man, make no mistake about it, Rothschild and his ancestors have handpicked presidents, crashed stock markets, bankrupted nations, orchestrated wars, and sponsored the mass murder and impoverishment of millions.
All this political stuff, that's just BS. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. That is the most deceiving thing in America. They know the Rothschilds makes the presidents. They're trillionaires. They own the world. They own like 90% of the world. You got the Blue Lodge, which is composed of all different nationalities and backgrounds of Masons, to include different religious sects, Hindu, Muslim, whatever. You could be atheist, they don't care. You could be Satan, you could be a devil worshiper. They'll bring a devil worshiping Bible, like that satanic Bible, so you take the oath. Yeah, they don't care. Yeah, they don't care.
A man described by newspapers as the most wickedest man alive claimed he had penetrated even deeper into mysteries. Born in 1875, Aleister Crowley was raised in a strict religious household. His mother nicknamed him the Beast from the Book of Revelation. It was a title he embraced his entire life.
He identified himself as the Antichrist, as the force that would take away this terrible Christian program which had so warped his childhood.
Crowley began studying the occult as a member of the Golden Dawn.
The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was the secret society par excellence of the Victorian age in England. It brought together, again, the knowledge that was available at that point in time. So you had tarot, and you had Kabbalah, and you had John Dee's angelic magic and Rosicrucian traditions, all being melded together under a single system.
The Golden Dawn attracted many of the London intelligentsia. Crowley, though, ultimately broke away from the group. He would find his own system of belief after a trip to Egypt, where his wife received a mystical signal that told him to prepare himself for a message from the gods. Heeding the call, he began spontaneously writing a book he called the Book of the Law.
this book announces a new law for mankind. And in fact, it tells us that we are very emboldened and brightened spiritual entity. That in fact, we are as the gods.
Most worshipful Grand Master, on behalf of the Brethren of Royal Somerset House and Inverness Lodge number 4, I present to you the volume of the Sacred Law, that great light in Freemasonry without which no ceremony can start or be complete.
They make you face the worshipful master of the East, the worshipful master of the West. This specific part in the lodge, it's empty, and that's the North. You never face the North, which it resembles where the Lord is at. They say that God is, straight up north, A lot of them are politicians, heavily involved in witchcraft. And they have to do certain rituals and certain things in order for them to gain favor with the Rothschilds, and then they send orders of doing things for that family. They give them orders, and with those orders money comes with it.
Today, the U.S. currency is backed by nothing but debt in the form of U.S. bonds. This is known as monetizing debt, the act of converting debt into money. Debt causes inflation because the Federal Reserve System facilitates the conversion of government bonds, government IOUs, into Federal Reserve notes, what we use as a currency. When this is done, the money supply is inflated. When the money supply is inflated, it becomes watered down or diluted. Just like stock, when a corporation authorizes and issues more stock, existing shareholders are diluted. When money is diluted, it has less purchasing power. When it has less purchasing power, prices rise because it takes more Federal Reserve notes to purchase a given product. When prices rise, it has the effect of a tax. Inflation is therefore a hidden tax. Thus, cultural Marxism uses debt, which generates the hidden tax of inflation, and endless taxes to fund its socialist operations and expansion. If the public better understood how fiat money can be abused by Congress, it would impeach almost every member and abolish the Federal Reserve Central Bank, as it has done twice in the nation's history.
You have to be a Freemason to be there. All the presidents were Freemasons. A small portion weren't, but they were Jesuits. This is the same thing.
The secret architecture of DC. It's plain to see once you have the knowledge, but remains hidden to the general public. It's a city overflowing with esoteric symbolism.
The layout of the city streets includes Masonic symbols like the compass and the rule. The theory is that all of these famous landmarks of Washington are really a secret code?
Right. The theory that Dan Brown is going to put forward is that there is a geometric code, a Masonic code, in the layout of Washington, D.C.
The street design for Washington, D.C. was being laid out by Pierre L'Enfant. It was between 1791 and 1792 that Pierre L'Enfant drew up the initial street design for Washington, D.C. This might all be seen as a mere coincidence, if not for the fact that Johann Wolfgang von Goethe was not only a master mason, but also a famous member of the Bavarian Illuminati.
It would support his theory that there was an intentional astronomical relationship in the layout of the city.
Most of the buildings in Washington, D.C. were created and founded by Freemasons. That was because building was their strength. They knew how to align buildings to certain patterns in the heavens. You could channel spiritual energies if your physical buildings were lined up with certain stars.
On the back of the dollar bill, of course. If we illuminate the DC pyramid with the same all-seeing eye of providence, we are directed to a specific building. Is this the Eye of Providence we are looking at, or its older incarnation as the Eye of Horus? Either way, what is behind the all-seeing Eye of the Sun? It's the headquarters of Scottish Freemasonry, which goes by many names, including the Supreme Council, Mother Council of the World, and House of the Temple. This building is loaded with Egyptian symbolism, with a 13-step unfinished pyramid on top, just like on the dollar bill, and two giant sphinxes flank the entrance out front.
What they do is they bring you into the temple, and they have the secretary, which is a male, we're all males. There's no female masons here. I know in Europe, I think they do, not here. Unless you're an Eastern Star, that's different. You have to be a master mason before you become anything else. Depending on your upward mobility and rituals, the quicker you get them done, the quicker things are revealed to you. But like I said, you could go as high as you want. If you got money, you could buy your way up. Got money, you could buy your way up. A lot of these guys and women, men and women that work in Hollywood, they're all Satanists.